Hello, my name is Thomas Patterson, Tom, and I'm the back-end developer for Student Nom, a website developed as part of the Streaming Media and Web Programming Unit at the University of Portsmouth. I'm just going to briefly talk you through the back-end, give you a bit of an overview of the overall concept, the database tables used, and also the tie-in with a social network. The purpose of the site is for users to be able to upload their own recipes, photos and videos of the recipe or dish, and for that to be displayed back to other users who can then use it to share. So the overall structure of the functionality looks a little bit like this. This is the architecture of it. So it's all run off MySQL. The technology used is PHP and MySQL, and within that we have a table called dishes, which I'll go into a bit more detail about in just a moment. So if a user is uploading a recipe to the site, they get displayed a form. Now, of course, we want to make sure that the user is a human being, that they're not a bot on the site or on the internet trying to corrupt the database. So we use something called a captcha code. So before the user even gets to the form, they have to captcha code is an image of some scrambled text, and the user has to decipher that text and input it into an input text box. So that is then sent off to the API server, and if that matches and returns a success, then the data that the user puts into the form is then submitted into the table. So that table is then used to serve the pages that display not just the menus for the dishes, so you've got starters, mains, desserts and drinks, but it's also used to display the individual recipes for those dishes. So the way that works is you've got a PHP page for every one PHP page called dish.php, and within that is a number of hard-coded HTML components, such as the header, the footer, things that don't change, and every time page ID is passed from the menu to the dish.php, the server sends a request to the table, says, can I have all of the details for the row where the dish name equals roast chicken, say, and the table goes, yeah, alright then, and delivers it back in PHP to the page that the user sees. So that's the overall architecture of it. There'll be another video just below this that will explain some of the code in a bit more detail. But first of all, the database table that we need to create on the actual database. So you've got your database, and then within that you need a table that's specific to the requirements necessary. Now, the ID is created by the PHP, not by the user. So the user inputs details for all of these items here, but the ID is unique. It automatically increments, so it counts up every time a new dish is put in. That counts up and that increases, and that use that for the navigation of the site. The rest is all input by the user. It's explained in a following video, but you've got your dish name, your rating, your preparation time. All of these things are various integers or text boxes. The method and the ingredients, they're obviously larger text boxes, so you use long text for them, so that the user's got space to write what they need. This actually gives the video is just a URL, as the server being used currently is not a streaming media server, so the videos are hosted on external servers such as YouTube, and the video here is just a URL to that. The photo, on the other hand, lets the user upload a photograph to the server, to a target on the server, and the only details that's saved in the database is a reference to that location on the server. It was tried to actually, you can physically save the image within the database in a binary format, but it makes the database massive in file size. It's not very good for backing up and the such like. So instead, a directory of images is kept on the server. The user uploads their image through the submitted form, and that gets saved to the database. To the server, and then the database references that. So because it's aimed at students, the demographic, it was decided to tie it in with the social network Facebook. Lots of students are on that now, and this method was to be used to share the site, to spread awareness of the site. And so basically there's a shout out button on the site. A user can click that, and their Facebook status will be updated with I found an awesome site, here's the URL. So the way that works is there's an application created on Facebook that is controlled by the URL student nom. So you've got student nom down here, and you've got the Facebook server up here. So the way it works is that the user clicks on shout out this site on my Facebook, and a check is done to make sure that the user is logged into Facebook. Obviously, a user who's logged into Facebook on one tab of a browser doesn't want to have to log in again through student nom. That would just be completely pointless and a waste of their time. So this fires off an intent to Facebook to check whether it's logged in. If it's a negative result, it says, sorry student nom, you're not logged into Facebook. Do you mind just logging in with this window here? And there's a little login button, pops up a little alert window and lets you log into Facebook. Once you're logged in, you don't have to type anything at all. If it returns a positive response, it updates the status with a predefined string that just says, I found an awesome site. The URL is thomaspatterson.co.uk/student nom. Why not check it out? And that goes to Facebook and automatically gets updated, so all of the current users' friends can see that in their news feed. And because we're still on student nom, a notification is sent back to the user just in the form of a little alert box to say, thanks for giving us a shout out, your Facebook status has been updated. And so that's a method used to drive more traffic, because then obviously the more exposure a site gets like that on social networks, the more users you're likely to get. And so I think that covers everything. There'll be a little code walkthrough now of connecting to the database and the way that it all works. But if there's any questions, then yeah, feel free to get in touch. Thank you very much.